Next, we have pipelining and superscalar operation. Along with the previously discussed upgradation, like how to improve the performance. So, what are the parameter? We have seen the formula that T is equal to N multiplied by S over clock rate, right? So, in this, by improving what all the factors, this can execute faster. See, all these three can play a major role. If you are going to reduce the number of instruction on your computer, like on your program, sorry, on your program, so then automatically performance will be increased. And what if your basic steps is less? If you are going to have an instruction which is having a less number of basic steps, and if you are using such instructions more in your program, then that is also going to play a major role. And the other one is the clock rate. You are having a high end processor which may clock in terms of 2.3 gigahertz, or it can be something like 4.5 gigahertz. Like if you are having a high speed processor, then also it can play a major role in improving the performance. Along with this, if we are going to do something more in our hardware uh, configuration, hardware designing, can we improve? Yes, it is possible. That is going to be said by the pipelining, which we are not going to do actually. That is done by the hardware designer, hardware vendors, but that is also going to play a major role in improving the performance. This is like writing the program which takes less number of instruction is in with us. Like we can write a simplified version, like rather than using unwanted statements, we can go with the only required statements. Yes, reduction of S size is not with us. Again, it's with a vendor who designed the hardware. And with respect to RS, we can buy a high-end processor, but like always, we have to think of cost also, whether it's worth of paying so much for that processor. Are we going to use so much processing speed always? So what we can do is, yes, we can do something. Along with this, our processors are going to come up with some more architecture. So actually what we say, I said generally, if I take a instruction, one instruction will be having four stages, right? One is fetch, decode, execute, and write back. These are all the four stages. Generally I speak. So if I am taking one instruction and each basic stage is executed in one clock cycles, to complete this, how much I need? 1 plus 1 plus again. So totally I need 4 clock cycles, right? So after this, consider I'm having 4 instruction in my program, 4 instructions. Each takes 4 clock cycle. It means 4 into 4, how many clock cycles? It takes 16 clock cycles to complete these 4 instructions. These are all the instructions, right? 16 clock cycles are required to finish this complete program. So can we improve this internally? Yes, it is possible. That is with the help of pipelining and superscalar operation. So we'll see what it is. Instructions are not necessarily executed one after another. Here with this discussion, what I did, first 4 clock cycle I executed first instruction. Next 4 clock cycle I executed second instruction. Next I executed third instruction with next 4 clock cycle. Again in the final 4 clock cycle I executed the third instruction, one after another I did. But it is not necessary to be executed like that. We can execute them uh, without one after state, that we will see with the help of pipeline. The value of S does not have to be the number of clock cycle to be executed or executed one instruction. Like this, on this S value, we can also reduce. So how this can be done? Overlapping is possible. One after another need not to be done. We can do overlapping concept. It means one is executing, still it is executing. I can bring the other one. and the other one is still executing, I can bring the third one, and the third one is still it is executing, I can bring the one more last one. That is possible. That concept we call it as a pipelining. Pipelining is nothing but overlapping the execution of the successive instruction. The one instruction example we have taken, add r1 comma r2 comma r3, which is a 3 operand instruction. It means the r1 sorry r1 and r2 is added and the answer is stored in the r3. So I am giving like two operands and the destination together in this instruction. Again, it is based on the architecture. Next, there is something called superscalar operation. Multiple instructions pipelines are implemented in the processor. This pipelining is a concept which is overlapping the execution. If it is implemented inside the processor, that is called as a superscalar operation. What is the main intention of this? Goal is to reduce the S value. That is what I said. S can be reduced. How we can reduce? We will see in the next slide. See, as I said, if I'm having 4 instruction, each takes 4 stages, 4 clock cycles. See, if I'm going to take fetch is a different part, fetch is a different hardware unit which is responsible always for fetching the content. Decode is one more hardware unit which is always responsible for decoding, and execution is ALU. So again, ALU is responsible for executing a instruction. Write back again one more hardware unit which is responsible for performing the write back operation. Right now, when I fetch the first instruction, you can notice when I fetch the first instruction on the second clock cycle, actually here decode is working, fetch is free. So in meantime, can I ask the fetch to fetch the second instruction? Yes, it is possible because he is free already. And on the third clock cycle, you can notice execution of the first instruction is going on, but decode is free. So can I ask decode to decode the second instruction? Here 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 is meant for the instruction number. They are not the different hardware devices. F, D, E and W are the same devices. These numbers are going to tell the instruction number. Now decode unit is free. On the third clock cycle, I am demanding decode to decode the second instruction which is already fetched. In meantime, you can notice fetch is also free. I will demand fetch to bring the third instruction. And next, on the fourth clock cycle, execution unit is free, ALU is free, and write back of first instruction is going on. Write back device is working. So now what I have to do? I can engage this execution unit ALU. So now during the fourth clock cycle, I am parallelly executing the second instruction, and meantime decode is also free. I already fetched the third instruction, I am going to decode it, and in meantime fetch is free. So what I do, fourth instruction is fetched, and on the fifth clock cycle the write back of this is over, so first instruction is completed, and on the fifth clock cycle I am finishing the second instruction. If I am doing it one after another, 4 plus 4 it is 8, but right now I finished in the fifth clock cycle, and on the sixth clock cycle I am writing the third instruction, and on the eighth clock cycle I am going to write the fourth instruction. It means what I did, I have reduced it by 2. Like previously I said, these 4 takes 4 cross 4 is 16, but now we have reduced it to this to 8. So this is possible with the help of pipeline and superscalar operation. This is the motto behind going with the pipeline and superscalar support in the processor, which is going to reduce the number of clock cycle. Here I am not going to change the instruction, I'm not going to change the basic steps, I'm not going to bring a new hardware. Only what I am doing is I am embedding some more structures inside our hardware processor, so that the task can be completed faster than the previous. See, previously I took 16 clock cycles, now I am taking only 8 clock cycles. What if I am going to add one more instruction 5? Then it will be finished in clock cycle 9. So actually it should be here, it's going to finish. Fifth one is going to finish over here. Actually, if I go one after another, it should take 20 clock cycles, but it is going to finish in 9 clock cycles. That is the beauty of going with pipelining and superscalar operation. Next, how to improve the IC clock rate. If you are going to improve, then here you are having a IC technology to be used, and with that you come up with the circuits which is faster, and where again you can concentrate on the instruction, where you can reduce the basic steps, or you can have a complex instruction with less number of instructions reduced, and CISC format, which I'm going to discuss here. Yes, CISC and RISC. CISC is a complex instruction set computer. RISC is a reduced instruction set computer. Both are having their own advantage and disadvantage. CISC is going to have support more number of instruction. RISC is going to support limited number of instruction. For example, the best example for CISC is our computers are designed with a CISC complex instruction set computer architecture. Our mobiles are designed with RISC reduced instruction set computers. Like these processors are designed with these, because why we need complex is which should support multiple operations. It is like, for example, I'll tell you, I don't know how to perform the multiplication, I don't know how to find the product, but you may suggest me you can do with adding the numbers so many times. For example, I want to perform this 2 cross 3, I don't know how to do this right now. What you may tell, add 2 3 times, right? 2 plus, I know how to add, right? 2 2 and 2, I got answer 6. This is what is RISC is going to do, but CISC is going to perform this operation. Like directly it's going to support multiplication, but RISC is not going to do this, where I have performed how many addition, 2 additions. Here I can do directly multiplication. So RISC is going to have less number of instructions, which may increase in the number of instructions in the program, but the basic steps may vary. But CISC is having a complex instructions, which is going to support the high level operations, and basic steps may vary, but it's going to reduce the number of instructions in the program. Either we are going to increase the value of n, or we are going to reduce the value of n, which is going to play a major role in, we have already seen n and s are going to play a major role in improving the performance of the given program. Or else we are having compilers. I told you before this, the compiler can utilize the multi-core architecture, or they can come up with a parallel computing architecture. So this is something which can, like, we are having a hardware which can do beyond its limit. For that I need a software which is smart enough to utilize that hardware. That is what is compiler is. Compiler can come up with a uh, parallel architecture, parallelly it can make the processor to run all the instructions in a given time. And the compiler should have like knowledge of dependent independent variables. Only independent variables can be executed parallelly, dependent variables has to run one after another. These are the decisions the compiler has to take. And again, the, but by doing this, compiler can also improve the performance of the execution of the program. And next, we are having a performance measurement. Next concept is performance measurement. How to measure the computer performance. If you are a hardware vendor, you are going to come up with your own hardware. You cannot tell my machine is faster. You should have to compare that with the another machine which is given by the standard people. Like there is an association called System Performance Evaluation Corporation, which we call it as a SPEC. SPEC is going to rate your machine. How they are going to rate your machine? So you have to run your computer, like whatever the hardware you have done, used, you have designed. So this is the computer under test and the reference computer. For example, on my computer, I take 5 seconds to complete the task. One complex program which takes 5 seconds to complete the task. And on the reference computer, it may take 7 seconds. For example, here I'm going to tell my computer is faster. Like this, I have to go with the benchmarks. There is something called benchmark. The standard program set, standard problem statements has been given to tell this processor is best. It is not only with the addition of two number program I cannot decide my program is best, my processor is best. It can complete the task faster than the other, but there might be some other test cases where I may fail. For example, if you are going to tell that I can perform the addition faster, it can be only the single digit addition I will do it faster. What if you give me some 10 digit addition, then I may fail, right? I may be slower than you, or your friend may be slower than you, because it depends on the input. You cannot go with only one simple input benchmark. Rather than calling a input, I will call it as a benchmark. I cannot decide this is the one input benchmark which is going to decide this particular system is best. You have to have such type of all the benchmarks. If your system is performing best in all the benchmarks, then you can tell my hardware whatever I have designed is best than the reference computer, the similar configuration from the different vendor. So it is better than this is how even you can see mobile reviews also been given, laptop reviews has also been given, and cars, all the reviews they are going to compare only with the similar referencing product. They are not going to take one mobile from like some 10,000 range and with the iPhone with some lakhs range. They are not comparing these two. Why? Because they are having their own hardware configuration. We have to get a respective similar product and we have to compare. Then only you can tell our product is best. And such type of multiple uh, comparisons need to be done. Then final the product of that is going to give you the rating for your performance. This is how the performance is measured by a spec for a given hardware. Then how else you can improve the performance? Rather than always going for a new hardware to be bought, we are having a similar specification, multiple computers. What we can do, we can come up with a multiple computer. You can use a like multi-computer architecture network and all, and we can make them a distributed system. And with that distributed system, we can compute the given task faster than the others. Or else if you are having a multi-processors, I said multi-processors or multi-cores, if you are having those things, yes, you can come up with a software which can manage all these things and you can finish the task faster. Rather, buying a new hardware like I am having i5 now, buying a i9 is not always solution. If you are having i5 two machines, yes, you can make them a multi-computer system and divide the task among them and give it to them. It might be faster than your i9 which you are going to buy in uh, the brand new one, because it's going to improve the performance. Thank you.